Hey, good evening, Midwest Survivor. Time for dinner chat. So first off, I want to say thank you to everybody that's checking out the channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, click the thumbs up, click the bell. The more support we get, the more subscribers we get, the more perks YouTube will give us. We'll be able to go live and do live stream directly from YouTube without having to record and then post later. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, thank you to everybody that's checking out the Facebook Shorts, the YouTube Shorts, the community, the Pinterest post, the Instagram post, the TikTok post, and the Lemonade post. More content to follow. Also, starting my 6th book tonight, What Nobody Tells Men About Emotional Abuse. That is going to be 20 chapters long, and I'm starting on that tonight. I've done my layout and got my book cover prepared, so I'm going to be starting up with the foreword in chapter 1 tonight. More details will be following about that. Also, be sure to check out the Midwest Survivor Recovery, Rebuilding, and Learning to Thrive coaching. It's $120 an hour. You get 1 hour of time, resources, support on how to rebuild your life. There'll be some workbooks, some planners, some journals that I'm going to be coming out with. So be sure to stay tuned for that and check out the community for that. But tonight's dinner chat topic is financial abuse and financial manipulation in churches. And this is a topic that is very, very sensitive, and with everything that is ongoing right now in the church world, there is a lot of things that have come up. And we are often taught that questioning how money is handled means that we lack faith, that we are disrespectful of leadership, and that we are unwilling to support God's work or God's people or the man of God. And the reality is that we are asking transparency questions, accountability questions, responsible questions, and just people to be honest. And giving should come from a heart that is willing to give, that is charitable, that is kind, that wants to be helpful and kind and caring. Not give out of fear, shame, manipulation, peer pressure, guilt, anything like that. When you give out of those things, that is not truly giving. That is just, in essence, extortion. So, what is financial abuse in a church? Financial abuse happens when religious leaders, religious authority, uses their influence, their position, and their power to control, exploit, deceive, manipulate, and pressure people into giving money and resources. And it can include consistently demanding offerings, teaching on giving consistently, pressuring members to give beyond their means, hiding how church funds are spent, making people feel spiritually inferior because they can't contribute more. A healthy church should teach, and healthy leadership should teach generosity, but it should never be used or leveraged against somebody to manipulate financially. So here's some common forms of financial manipulation. The biggest form of financial manipulation, the common tactic, is fear. People may be told that if they do not tithe, if they do not give, God will remove his protection, that their finances will fail or tragedy could enter their lives. Instead of giving from love, people instead begin giving because they are terrified of what might happen to them if they do not. Another tactic is promising guaranteed blessings. Statements such as, give $100 tonight and God will multiply it, can turn faith into financial transactions. Generosity can be meaningful, but no leader should guarantee that a particular donation will produce a particular reward or God giving back to them. Manipulation can appear through public pressure. Leaders may ask people to stand, raise their hands, walk forward, announce what they are giving. This creates embarrassment, competition. People may donate money that they need for rent, for food, for medicine, or their children because they do not want to look unfaithful. Some churches place heavy financial expectations on volunteers. Members may be expected to donate money, work, materials, unpaid hours, purchase supplies, attend every fundraiser, and financially support every project that comes down the pipe. Eventually, service becomes exploitation, people get burned out, and people get angry. So here's another one. When leaders live differently than the congregation, financial abuse becomes especially concerning when the leadership demands sacrifice from struggling families while living high lifestyles that ordinary members could never afford. There is nothing automatically wrong with a pastor earning a reasonable salary or ministry getting paid for services rendered. Ministry is work and people deserve fair compensation. Nobody will argue that. The problem is secrecy, excessive luxury, entitlement, accountability. When members are told to give until it hurts, while leadership refuses to explain spending, where money is going, there is something dreadfully wrong. When people cannot afford groceries but are encouraged to give their last dollar toward another building project, another church program, or something else, there is something drastically wrong. When leaders use church money as though it was their personal account, there is something wrong. Spiritualizing financial control, manipulative leaders often connect money with loyalty and spiritual submission. They may suggest that people who give more are more committed, more obedient, more spiritually mature, but the reality is they are either manipulated or they are just trying to garner favor or trying to make themselves look good by giving the most. Members who question financial decisions are often accused of being rebellious, being greedy, attacking the pastor, the leadership, the ministry, or trying to divide the church. This prevents honest questions. A healthy church should be able to answer, where does the money go? Who approves spending? Are financial records available? Does the church have independent oversight? Are leaders held to the same standards as everyone else? Transparency should not threaten honest leadership. The emotional impact. Financial abuse can leave people feeling ashamed, betrayed, confused, disillusioned, and angry. Some people go into debt because they were pressured to give more than they could afford. Others neglect their own needs because they believe that believe that taking care of themselves is selfish and wrong. People may avoid paying bills, delay medical care, take money away from their families to meet church expectations. When they finally recognize the manipulation, they may feel angry at themselves and towards God and church leadership. But the shame does not belong to the person who trusted. It belongs to the people who misuse that trust for their own profit gains. So here's some warning signs of financial abuse that include constant pressure to give. It's never enough. There's always something else. They raise the giving totals higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Threats of spiritual consequences for not donating. Well, if you don't give, then you won't be blessed. If you don't give, this is going to happen to you. If you don't give, you're going to lose your job. Promises of guaranteed financial blessings. If you give, God's going to give it back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. No clear financial reports. Well, we gave roughly about this amount. No, it needs to be black and white. Leaders who refuse questions. Leaders who accuse people of dysfunction and disunity and rebellion and accusatory statements. Public praise for people who give large. Public embarrassment for those who either don't give, can't give, or give less. Church funds being controlled by one person or one family. Members encouraged to give while ignoring their own essential needs. Luxury spending by leaders while other people are struggling. One warning sign does not automatically prove abuse, but repeated patterns should not be ignored. Giving should never destroy your stability. There's nothing wrong with being kind and being generous. Helping others and supporting meaningful ministries and contributing to a healthy church are very positive, very good things to do. But generosity should not require you to neglect your children, miss rent, avoid buying food, or remain trapped in debt. You are allowed to create a budget. You are allowed to say, I cannot give at this time or this amount. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to stop donating when you no longer trust how money is being handled. You are allowed to leave an organization that constantly uses fear, guilt, pressure, intimidation, manipulation, or pressure to control you. Healthy church practices is transparency. A healthy church practices transparency, accountability, honesty, and provides regular financial reports and uses multiple people to oversee funds and establishes clear budgets and welcomes reasonable questions. Healthy leaders do not treat church money as their personal checkbook. They do not promise miracles in exchange for donations. They do not shame people who cannot give. They encourage members to care for their own families, pay their obligations, and make wise financial decisions. Generosity should be an invitation, not a demand, not a command, not pressured or forced down somebody's throat. Faith should never be used as a weapon to empty someone's bank account for other people's profit gains. You can believe in God and still question church and personal financial practices. You can be generous and have clear, concise boundaries. You can support the ministry and still expect transparency, accountability, responsibility, and honesty. And you can walk away from financial manipulation without walking away from your faith or your belief in God. Protecting your finances does not make you selfish or self-centered. Asking for transparency does not make you rebellious or a troublemaker. Sometimes questioning where the money goes is not lack of faith. It is just simply wisdom. So Midwest Survivor, as always, I want you to be positive. I want you to think positive. I want you to grow. I want you to be strong, get strong. I want you to be healthy, get healthy, stay healthy. And remember, if you're in a financially abusive situation with leadership or a church, you can walk away. Keep your faith in God, keep your belief in God, and more importantly, ask questions and say, you know what, this is not for me. I have to leave. So as always, stay healthy, stay strong, and remember, you can walk away from something if you're being abused and being mistreated and being taken for granted. Take care. Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Breakfast Bits.